There's this funny saying. It's stereotyping a culture of hardworking people, um, West Indian people in particular, who they're speaking about. But it's from A Living Color. If you guys remember that show, the skit was Heyman, and there was a woman on there, and she said, "My man has 15 jobs, and I think I love he." Excuse my accent. But anyways, and then there was Papa Headley, right? He did the skit and he had several jobs in Living Color. And he would say, "What do you mean you only have one job? I have 15 jobs, you lazy lima bean." Four jobs, he would say. "Let me tell you something, young Rasta boy. When I was your age, I had maintenance. I was a maintenance man, a carpenter, a cab driver, a cook, a hospital distributor, a security guard, a tour guide, a fish cleaner, and I did all of these jobs in the same day." He said, "I almost didn't even have time to make you, boy." Yeah, that was from the mouth of Papa Headley. Yeah, again, that was played by Damian Waynes, and in Living Color, I missed that show. And he was the patriarch of the hardest working West Indian family. And it just made me reflect and think about that. Just thinking about, is it important for us to have more than one stream of income? Is it necessary? And then I think about our ancestors. Did they have more than one job? And did they work independently? Were they entrepreneurs? Or did they work for somebody? I want to get into that today. So I'm very excited to bring on a guest who's going to talk about how to, have multiple streams of income. So, but before we get into it, you know how I do. So you guys get ready, and I will be right back. Well, hello, hello, and welcome to In Your Ear Radio. I am your host, Latoya. So very happy to be with you on this fine Saturday. Lovely, lovely weather. I love the fall weather. I mean, this is perfect. Here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the fall weather and the spring weather is my jam. I was born in the fall. Maybe I'm biased in that respect, but it's just beautiful. Still in the high 90s per se. We had some hail, I heard last night, and a little sprinkles. First Friday was lit. I was downtown, and the weather was lovely to just walk around. Little hot, overcast, but it's not just. It don't feel like hell, if y'all know what I'm talking about. So I really, really appreciate the fall. Thank you all for joining me live in the chat on Facebook and YouTube as well. I'm really excited to get into the conversation with our very special guest. And before I do that, let me go ahead and share my live, which I always do, to my group. And I'm doing that now. I have been successful. Okay, so we are live. Okay, so it says it's having trouble. I hope we're good. Can you guys see me on Facebook? If you can, please let me know. It's saying that there's trouble on Facebook. For those of you who are in Facebook. Okay, it looks like we're good. So hopefully we are. If you're in the Facebook chat, just say hi so I know that you can hear me and see us as well. In the YouTube chat, I can see all of you in the comments. I see Iceberg Slick. Okay, all these. Okay, we got some questions. All right. I see Vegas Gates. Hi, says hello. Reggie Johnson. Okay, what's up? What's good? What's good? Okay, let me just get you guys in here. We're going to answer that question for you too. In the economy, it's definitely necessary to have two jobs. That's what I opened up, or multiple streams of income, right? Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think so. It's important. And I'm looking forward to our guest who's going to, elaborate on that and talk to us on how we can do that. Shout out to Vegas Gates as well. Reggie Johnson, I see you on YouTube as well. What's good, Vegas? He says, live podcast in the house. What's up? Okay. Also, yep, I got everybody in here. Let me see. Shout out to Africa Carr, who is on YouTube as well. Okay, so again, you guys, if you're in Facebook and you can see and hear, please let me know. If not, we will see what the issue is. But I think we should be good to go. Shout out to Shanta as well on the bread. Thank you guys for joining. So yeah, before we get into it, I just wanted to give shout outs to those who are celebrating a birthday. I know I have a niece who had a birthday yesterday, and also a sister. One of my high school alum is turning up today on her birthday. Shout out to you. And also Beyonce turned, I think, was it 44 or 45 on September 4th. So shout out to her. Just some fun facts about Beyonce. If you guys don't know, her first name is actually her mother's maiden name, which is her father's surname. So yeah, shout out to everybody, you Virgos. You know what I'm saying? I got my opinions about Virgos, but I love me a Virgo, but I'm just saying Virgos are something else. All right. Happy birthday to y'all. Okay. So anyway, this is National Read a Book Day. If you guys don't have a book, get a book and read it. Reading is very good for the brain. It's good to help, offset Alzheimer's. So this is from my book club, The Family Across the Street. So I'm gonna start reading this today. Usually, when a book is kind of, I'm not really into it, I go walk my fish and vacuum the beach. But I stay committed. So I'm gonna go ahead and read it. I'm not gonna walk my fish or vacuum the beach. I'm gonna read the book. It's also National Tailgating Day, you guys. So if you don't know about that, this is football season, right? Everybody is out here doing their thing. For those of you who watch football, I'm not big on football. I don't watch it, but I'll make some side items, some appetizers for the family if they want to chill around the TV and do their thing. Okay. And so that is that. But yeah, historically, National Tailgating Day started way back in the 1800s, as early as 1861, and really originated from people wanting to gather around and just be a part of the action. Okay. So the action in 1861 was a Civil War, y'all. And so the people wanted to come out, particularly in Virginia. They came out in their carriages and their buggies for the day to meet the soldiers, to greet the soldiers and be present and watch a Civil War. Okay, so you know how that turned out, right? Anyway, that was interesting to me to find out that tailgating actually stemmed from, again, people wanting to watch a Civil War. All right, okay. But later on in time, the vehicle started to come out. Maybe 8 years later, the vehicle boom came out, and people had vehicles, and there was college football was very popular. So they would then tailgate, meet in their buggies, and gather food and have entertainment and drinks and be present for the college football games, which is interesting. And they continued on to that into the 1920s, where they had the really popular in the 1920s, again, when the automobile industry was booming in Michigan and Chicago. Tailgating was really popular. And tailgating is also called pregame, which, in my world, pregame means cocktails. That's what I consider pre-gaming. But yeah, tailgating, pre-gaming, all the same, I guess. But in later on, the NFL wives got involved and started offering menu suggestions for people who tailgated. It was very, very popular. There were festivities. The one big event that happened during the National Tailgating season, which today again is National Tailgating Day, was the festivities of the annual college game between Florida and Georgia in Jacksonville, Florida. And that began on an early Wednesday before the kickoff. And that led to the Florida Times Union columnist and editor Bill Castells, which I might have just butchered his name, to dub it as the world's largest outdoor cocktail party in 1958. So yeah, listen, then in the 1970s, it spilled over into the NFL. So that's what's up. I just wanted to shout out tailgating since it is football season or whatnot. But yes, today, again, we do have a special guest, and I'm just excited to have her on and talk about a lot of things. We're going to get into it. She said she's not holding back. So, I'm ready to see what she going to let out. Okay. So without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce Miss Latonia Pye, also known as Latonia Coach Pye.
Hey.
Hi. Let me go ahead and give you your cheers. Woo-hoo, hey. Did I say that right? Is it Latona?
It's Latona, yeah.
Okay. Do people mess up your name a lot?
They do.
They do?
Then I get the rhyme, like Latona, like Daytona, pie, like an apple pie.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I always say that with people, because some people want to call me Latanya. My name is Latoya, and I always say like Latoya Jackson. So yeah, I'm having trouble on this Facebook. I don't know what it is. It's saying there's trouble. That is so sad. I'm just so disappointed right now. So I don't know how to fix that. But we are live on YouTube. I do apologize for anybody who's not able to view on Facebook. I've never had this issue before, but the devil is a lie. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Okay. So I'm just so excited to meet you. I remember actually we became Facebook friends years ago. I know it was well over 5 years ago. I met you at some social business social. I'm not sure what the event was for or what was going on, but I do remember your face and your name. And yeah, so we were following each other, but I didn't see you recently on my feed or over the years. You know, it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind sometimes because we have so many people that we follow. And then if we don't see them on our page, we forget, you know, and then all of a sudden something popped up and you were talking about, you know, going from, going into welfare and hoping nobody saw you to, you know, this business to where you were, you know, developing a stream of income for yourself. And I'm just like, wow, that was interesting to me because I didn't know your background. I just knew you were in the business world, maybe the entrepreneurship world, and I didn't know. So I definitely want to get into your business and all of that. But I want to take it back and I want to start from the beginning, like who you are, like where you from, where you live, um, and just a little bit of your background. So let's start there.
All right. So I'm originally from Detroit, the Chicago type area thing. But I stayed in Vegas for like 15 years. And then after Vegas, I recently moved to Florida. I've been in Florida for 3 years. So I'm down here in Florida and letting the wings spread and actually growing down here in Little Leesburg, Florida.
Yeah. Okay. And so, did you live in Vegas at any point?
Yeah, I was in Vegas for 15 years. I literally moved from Vegas to Florida.
Okay. Okay. Oh, so 15 years. And what brought you to Las Vegas?
You know, the typical thing, a man thing that didn't work out. And I just stayed.
Yeah. Yeah. So you liked it, but then you end up going back home. You like it there in Florida?
No, I'm not from Florida.
Oh,
Again,
okay.
the man thing. So we down here in Florida. We went on a cruise and we caught the Amtrak from New York to Orlando and coming back during Christmas. They was on ATVs. He was like, "Babe, you want to move to Florida?" I was like, "Okay."
And just picked up and moved, right? Oh yeah, that's real love right there. That is
Yes,
real love.
yes.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. So yeah, yeah, just learning more about you, and then just just picking up from there because you moved to Florida, but just rewinding back to when I met you again. I don't remember how many years ago that was, but I know it was over 5 years ago. It had to be
Yeah,
right because you,
it's probably about 8, 9 years
yeah,
actually.
yeah.
And then we had met at it was an after party for one of the artists because at that time I was into
Ah,
promoting concerts in Vegas. So
yeah, yeah.
mhm.
Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah. So, but yeah, I was reading, and I'm just going to read a little bit of just what I captured that got my attention from your page when you posted about your life experiences. One of the things that I saw that you said, I remember standing in line for food stamps, praying nobody I knew saw me. And I was like, wow, that's a feeling. I remember growing up, we lived off of them subsidies, and back then it was paper. So we would go over to the grocery store with my mom, like they lay them all out and stamp them, like they just wanted to embarrass the hell out of us, right? So I kind of felt you. I empathize with what how you were feeling because we got to survive however way we can, and we're taxpayers, so that money is ours, but it's still embarrassing, to some to have to be in that situation where we have to go in and ask for help. We like to be independent, but what led you to be in that situation?
So I was a young mom. I became a mom at like 19, and us, we be independent. We ain't staying with nobody. We staying by ourselves. And then I kind of had all my children. I got three girls, 36, 35, and 33. I had them all by the age of 22. So,
Wow.
being out in the street, I was a little bit buck wild, did some drug dealing and drug trafficking and
Okay.
all of that good old stuff, and I just found myself there because when you go to jail, you got to do something. So being there after being in the streets from the age of 14 is just like something, and then really out in the streets by the time you're 18 is a
Hmm.
whole different ball game. You know what I'm saying? So by all means necessary, you're gonna do what you need to do to feed your kids.
That's true. So having three children, all under the age of 25, you got yourself into the underworld of drugs while your kids were young. How did you get into that part of life? The
Well,
drug aspect. Were you introduced to it? Did it fall in your lap? What happened?
I mean, it can't. I was always around it, if that makes sense. Even
Yeah.
though we grew up in the church, and the preacher kid and all that. But being a female, I think we can get exposed to some things just by dealing with the people that we're dealing with.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted to mention to people because, we talk about men, our young men, especially in the 80s, a lot of them, the war on drugs, the mass incarceration, and we talk about the men all the time doing the minimum mandatory sentencing, but we never talk about the women because they were side by side with the men, right? Even if they weren't hand in hand in the drug world, just being associated, affiliated with them, living in the same house caused a lot of women to be incarcerated. And we forget about these women and we don't think that they were as affected as much as our black men. And so that's another thing that really stood out to me. Did you have to, did you go to jail? Did you go to prison? Were you gone for a long time?
I went to jail. I didn't do much time. But your girl did make the news all down in Kansas. It was a big old thing because I got caught on what's called the Fed Highway I-70. So I mean, my kids got taken away because it was just
Mm.
me and my kids. So my kids was in the car with me type thing. But the thing about me is I didn't go to jail when I was young. I was 35 when I went to jail. So
Wow.
yeah, I was always the superhero to my children. And that one day in March, I became the villain because my oldest daughter, supposed to be in valedictorian of the 8th grade. They missed like 30 days. The judge was like, if don't nobody come get your kids, they're gonna be part of the system. You dang near begging people to come pick your kids up. It's just wild. It's just
Mm.
wild. So a lot of lessons, you know what I'm saying?
That's
And
crazy.
then, being forced into that's how I got forced into entrepreneurship though. I mean,
That-
being in the drug industry does make you kind of an entrepreneur.
yes.
But when I say that's how I was forced in becoming an entrepreneur, that's the professional, the white
Mhm.
collar professional. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can't take my stuff. You could
Yes.
take everything else when I was doing it illegally, but now I'm doing it legally. So now, now what you gonna do? I got my name on some stuff type
Yeah.
thing. Hmm.
I've always said that when I think about us in the underworld and the drug game, it's like a whole corporation. It's not legal, but those who are in that business, I mean, they make a lucrative income, but they also are managing business in the same respect that you would do in the legal world. You know what I'm saying? So we have the skill set. For those who do it in the underworld, have the skill set to run their own corporation because that's what they're doing in the underworld. So, I always just encourage anybody who's in that industry. And we see that though. We see a lot of people that come from that world come up and have great businesses, right? In the music, entertainment industry, all different automobile, just all different type of industries from that because they already have those managing skills, leadership skills, and things of that nature. So, I always wanted to just, give people, even though, you might have been breaking a law per se, you got a skill set. You still intelligent. You still smart. You was beautiful. You was wise. Yeah. So wow. So 35, you're away from your kids, and you had to leave them to be raised by someone else until you came back home.
Well, my lawyer, rest in peace, Warren Harris, out of Detroit, Michigan. He kind of, it pays not to be a knucklehead, if that makes sense, right? So if you ain't got a record and you doing certain things, so when I went to jail, I didn't go to jail for like cocaine. I went to jail for marijuana, and which is like illegal now. So I'm like, oh, you going to take that off, right?
Yeah.
But it worked a little bit different. I mean, it was a lot, but it was the borderline for a whole year. I had to worry about if the feds was picking up a case. Then it went from a year to 3 years, worried about if they were gonna come
Yeah.
step in and things like that. So because I was actually a good girl slash bad girl, I didn't have to do that much. And my mom was able to come, pay my bill and get me and my kids. So when my kids was able to come home, I was actually able to come home.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm reading on Facebook just for a minute because it was blocked. It's saying that the video is blocked. I don't know why. There's no copyright content found. There's no what are they talking about? I'm sorry, but I just want to make sure this is clear. Oh, this is crazy. Um, so yeah, that's good that you were able to, get that squared away, having a good attorney. So you had an attorney prior to all of the things that were going on, or you just picked one up
No, no,
during.
no. I had one on retainer. When you do certain things, you better protect yourself all the way around the table. So, kind of had one sitting in my back pocket, and yeah,
Okay.
it was something.
Okay, to contain someone else's content. I'm so sorry. Yeah, this has never happened to me before, but that's good to know. So it's good to have an attorney. That's another thing. We talk about, having multiple streams of income just so we're not always dependent on the man, or on a job, also, having, somebody having backup, which could be an attorney, right? So that's a good look. That's probably why you didn't have to do as much time, as you could have. And I'm so glad that you didn't have to be there long. So you got into, unfortunately, into the prison system. But at some point, you learned about finances, or were you learning about financial wealth and business before then?
No, I kind of got into it when I got in trouble because the judge was like, you either get a job or I'm going to
Oh,
force you to come live in Kansas. I was like, I don't know nobody in Topeka. Wait a minute, I don't want to live here type thing. So my lawyer gave me two options. One was real estate or one was taxes because I'm not an employee. I don't, my whole attitude is bad. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I was like, I can't work for nobody. So he gave me those options. I tried real estate. I'm scared of roaches. I'm scared of
It's okay.
spiders. But baby Nikki and Minnie will make me kill myself. So I was like, let me try taxes. And I tried taxes and I've been in love ever since. But that's funny. Math was my worst subject. And I only made it to the 8th grade. So even for
Wow.
me to be where I'm at right now, baby, let you know that anybody can do anything that they put their mind to.
Amen to that. Eighth grade education. So obviously you raised yourself. But you said you was out and about at 14, all your kids under the age of 25. Yeah, you are living proof that you can come out on top regardless, and that's the story that people need to hear, because there's a lot of people who come from, adversity, and they feel hopeless or helpless, or people have told them they will never be able to succeed or have anything in life. And so just to see a success story live and in color is important, and this is one of the reasons why I like having this platform, to be able to highlight those things. Shout out to who's this top shelf. He's in the chat, YouTube chat, and it said, this is a crime for us, making it into rocks. We got more time and they got less time for powder. That is a fact. And I know what he's talking about when he talks about cocaine versus crack cocaine. The history of that. You think about the whole war on drugs. You think about the Oliver North Iran Contra, where they were exchanging, with Colombia. There was a whole Nicaragua thing where they were exchanging, letting them bring in cocaine, so that they could supply money for them for, war that they were having in a whole another country. And then, bringing that here. And then, of course, there was an influx of drug users, sellers, and all of those things. And then once the black people got access to it, and as we do, we turn lemon into lemonade, right? We turn lemon into lemonade. We figured out how to way to make more money off of it. We couldn't afford or have access to cocaine. We couldn't bring in shipments of cocaine, but we took the most heat for that. And they punished us for diluting cocaine. Like you would think you would get more for the pure stuff than you would for stuff that you gotta add baking soda to. I watch series.
You got to stir the jar. You got to put a little soda and stir that jar, baby. Yes, that part. Yeah.
So that is so true. That's just the world we live in. Systemic racism is real, but then you hear people, back then the war on drugs was against black people, ripping families apart. But there were people who suffered from drug addiction. Families were taking away, our mothers and fathers who, they were going to jail for petty crimes, theft. Again, kids going into foster care, all because there was drugs brought in by these white men who were United States representatives, and now they were wagging a finger at us. But you got to also remember during that time from the 70s and 80s, we were also just getting the civil rights in 1965. So this is backlash. They want to set us back. Every time we make steps forward, they want to set us back. So this is backlash. We got the civil rights movement. We got the Black Panther Party, feeding children, educating, and things of that nature. So they had to find a way to cripple us. And they were successful, to some degree with doing that, and even saying, hey, we're going to give you more time for, being skillful in mixing and creating and making something that was unfortunately destroyed. I mean, that stuff is like a demon. Whatever is in that, is it a whole nother soul and spirit. Okay. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think about that when we're talking about the drugs. It's ironic to me that whenever there's a war, drugs are involved. If you think about, again, we go back to Iran-Contra, it was the Nicaraguan and the Colombians. Then it was U.S., the war on drugs. You think about as recent as 2001 to 2021 in Afghanistan, they went over there talking about 9/11, came back with all these opiates, and now everybody's, majority of white women and their kids are hooked on these drugs, and now it's no longer a war on drugs, it's an epidemic. It's we need to help the people. You know what I mean? We need to get them therapy. We need to get them medicine and ways to help them overcome. They're not just trying to lock them up. Even though now the statistics show that there are more white women getting locked up now than there is black women. So that's something. And then you have, what was it also? Was there another war? There was something else. But yeah, that whole heroin, or how we say in the black community, heroin. What you say, heroin or heroin? Heroin. And the heroin, the heroin with the opiates. So, they've always been at this. So just to piggyback on what you said, brother, yes, indeed, they was attacking black men in the worst way, and black women. So yeah, shout out to Oregon though. They decriminalized cocaine in 2020. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
They did, yeah. I just learned that. I don't know why I didn't know, or maybe I did and it just left my memory bank. But yeah, they just decriminalized. So basically, just for small. I guess if you can't still just bring kilos in, but possession of small amounts of street drugs such as cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine. There's an initiative in Oregon. They allow people who are arrested with small amounts of hard drugs to avoid going to trial and possible jail time by paying a $100 fine and attending an addiction recovery program. The treatment centers will be funded by revenues from legalized marijuana. Imagine this, so many of our brothers and sisters are locked up because of marijuana. And now they're using that exact same money to fund, we know what people, this is the incentive is for, the intentions are to help bring them back from zombie land.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you ain't gonna erase them records. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so legal right now, but you ain't. But you know what really tripped me out? What I learned the most about my whole case was one of my felonies was actually failure to pay the drug tax. I said, so if I pay my taxes, I can get off. Like, it's a tax on drugs. I never knew that until I got locked up. Yes, one of my charges was failure to pay Kansas City's drug tax.
So they wanted but that's the bottom line. At the end of the day, they look, Uncle Sam want his cut. It ain't about whether it's ethical or moral. Uncle Sam said, I ain't get my cut.
Right,
So,
right,
yeah,
right.
you're gonna pay the price. So you have to pay taxes. So how do they equate that? Like, how do they know how much you spent or sold?
Well, it's not that they'll make you. They can't make you pay a tax because if
Okay.
I'm paying taxes, that means I'm legal, right? If I
Yeah.
pay my taxes, I pay Uncle Sam my taxes. He doesn't do anything to me. If I don't pay Uncle Sam, he gonna come start taking my stuff. So that was a charge that was actually able to get thrown out. But for you to
Okay.
state that as a felony charge, and when you get
Hmm.
charges, there's levels to it, and you wanted to make that like a level 2 charge. That was some serious. But so I just asked the question. The judge didn't like me too much because I was asked the question. So if I pay these taxes, do I get to go home? Type thing. And it was like no. So it was like dismissed. But it's funny. That is something that they'll try and charge you with.
Wow. Wow. Who knew that? I didn't know that. That is crazy. That is so crazy. So are you able to vote?
They say I am. I only voted once in my whole life, and that was when
Okay.
Obama first came out. When he first ran. Other than that, baby, I stand on my rights. No, I'm not voting.
Yeah.
This is a whole different thing on the voting thing. Like, you gonna put who you want in that office anyway. So that's how I feel about it.
Well, they doing their best to do that, I can say. But I listen. I encourage anybody watching and listening to not give up your rights to do so because that is their job to suppress our vote and to keep us with that mentality that we have no dog in this fight, and we do because if we didn't, they wouldn't make it so that if you have a felony, you couldn't vote. They wouldn't make it where they're gerrymandering states. They wouldn't make it so there's so many different rules and regulations that they try to prevent people from voting. So that's enough to let you know right then and there that your vote matters and it can be successful, but they just work overtime to make sure that it isn't. So don't be discouraged. Don't be apathetic. I know it's a struggle, but we've come far, you guys, and trying to take us back. They've done a lot to take us back, but that doesn't stop us from fighting. We come from a spirit of fighting people. That's why we have multiple streams of income, some of us, because we're not dependent on these folks to tell us when we're going to be able to eat and be able to provide and take care of our families. So never give up the fight and don't be discouraged, even though they playing without the rules. I just want to encourage that.
Yeah.
So the judge says you need to get a job or you're going to be incarcerated, and so you had to figure it out. And so the light just came on in your head that you wanted to get involved in finances. You was already dealing with money, so why not?
Right. So got involved in, like I said, I tried my hand at real estate, but
Okay.
baby, in Chicago, walking in buildings and you seen them little mice just there and it's just ash. It was just like, it was too much. So the next best thing was taxes. And ever since then, I can say taxes has actually saved my life and changed the trajectory of my children and my grandchildren's lives. So
So what would you say to people who do maybe have a criminal background, maybe a felony or things of that nature? Are they able to get into a business where they can prepare taxes or just get into the tax business?
So, well, I am living proof that you can be a
Yeah.
felon and a convicted felon and do taxes. It works the same thing with real estate. The only thing that you cannot do is bend and fraud. You can't do fraud. You can't bend and embezzle, money launder, things like that. But if you do, but you can dang and murder somebody and be able to do taxes and real estate, even become a notary. So I tell anybody out there that's a convicted felon, baby, learn how to do taxes because it's some lucrative money over here in this industry or whatever. But even if it's not getting so much into the financial industry, if you know how to boil some hot dogs, get you a hot dog cart or make some lemonade or something. But fighting the people to get a job is something that a convicted felon does not have to do because the entrepreneurship is our number one go-to. But most people don't know how to get started, like with even just simply getting an EIN, which is free, or LLC, depending on what state you in, to where if you get pulled over and you sitting with money on your seat, baby, they can't take it. Like, We too. I'm too old. I'm not gonna say we because I'm gonna talk about me. I'm too old to go back to jail. So when
No,
I want to ride around with some money somewhere and you talk, it's over 10,000. This is what you Google my name because this is
yeah.
what I do. You know.
Okay. So you just said, okay, I'm going to figure out a way to make money. So I'm going to get into, I tried the real estate. That wasn't my jam. I'm going to get into this whole finance with the tax industry. Did you link up with someone? Did you have a mentor or someone to educate you on how to get involved in that?
So I went to Liberty Tax and I
Okay.
took their $150 class. When I did it, it was on Eastern and Russell, and it's no longer there. But
Hmm.
I started there, and it was funny. It was actually a Russian that came in there and told me I shouldn't be working in here. I should be doing taxes on my own. And if he came back the following year and I was still sitting in there, he wasn't going to be my client. So I left,
Okay.
and I've been doing my
Wow.
own ever since. Yep.
So it was just as easy as just getting an EIN and just going from there, getting
Well,
your education
even to do
certificate.
taxes, there are levels to doing taxes. So you can just do, I call it the street tax, or you doing a professional tax. The street taxes is using charging people and using TurboTax, Free Tax USA, things like that.
Hmm.
The professional is you got software like Drake, TaxSlayer, OLT, the things that the big threes use like Liberty, H&R Block, and Jackson Hewitt. That's
Yeah.
professional. So,
Hmm.
but you just need a P10. And long as you current on your taxes, and even if you owe the government and you make it on a payment plan, you can get a P10 and baby, you can do taxes for anybody. Matter of fact, I teach y'all how to do taxes, so make sure y'all get my information. Y'all come get up under me. How about that?
So now instead of going to Liberty Taxes, they can come to you to learn how to do taxes and then go ahead and set up their own, stream of income doing taxes for other people. How
Yes.
long did it take for anyone to learn?
It depends on the length of the class. Like I got a class starting September the 20th that run to December the 15th. But after that, baby, I can teach you how to do taxes in 5 days. That's
Mhm.
how simple taxes is. People think taxes is not. People make it seem like it's all about the law. And when it comes to taxes, it's all about what you can and can't put in that system. That's what that is.
Elaborate more on that because to me it seems like it is about the law. So when you say can or can't put into the system, what do you mean?
So the software actually has the laws embedded.
Okay.
Okay? So, like if you go on Turbo after December, you're gonna see all the new tax updates.
Okay.
So the software gets the updates. Now we have Circular 230, and you can go on the IRS, but the book is like this dang on thick. You don't need all of that. I just need to know these is your kids. These are your legit W-2s, 1099s, things like that. So that's what I mean by the system. You just got to know what you can and can't put in the system.
Okay. Yeah. And so how lucrative is it? What is the average annual income being a
Okay.
tax preparer?
Now wait, let me get a disclaimer. That's based on you. Now, if you gonna be lazy with it, that's on you, right? But somebody like myself, that this is my bread and butter. You know what I'm saying? For the last 15 years, I've been lucrative over six figures in taxes
Oh
alone.
wow.
And I don't do much marketing like word of mouth, social media. That's what I'm saying. Listen, anybody can do taxes. You just got how passionate are you going to be about it? And are you that person that, I use entrepreneurship like a relationship. How stable are you in your business? It's the same way you should be stable in your relationship. If your relationship is rocky and your business is rocky, then you know what I'm saying? You doing TLC, you doing UWE, you doing Planet, you doing taxes, you selling Avon, you doing Tupperware. Like you just all over the dang on place, right?
Yeah.
But when you become passionate about something, this is where you can focus and take that one thing and have multiple streams out of one thing. My tax office alone offer multiple services where I'm getting paid out of one just by tax from a taxpayer.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
and what I mean by that is, like, I started out with taxes, right? Then
Mm-hmm.
it turned me to learning credit repair. Then it was bookkeeping. Then it was payroll service. Then it was helping people form their LLCs and nonprofits. Then it's tax advisory. Then it's I also do consultation, financial coaching. So I got dang near 7 streams just based off of learning how to do taxes.
Wow. So aside from learning how to do taxes, you have your offices available to teach people how to do credit repair. So you guys actually help people with credit repair?
Yes, we help you right now. I got a 90-day DIY challenge going on Facebook. We 15 days into that where I'm showing you how to fix your credit where you ain't got to pay nobody. You know,
Okay.
social media is listen. Y'all better stop listening to social media because social media gonna get some of y'all jacked up, right? Because they telling you, you know, you can clean your credit in 7 days, baby. That is a lie. I'm listen, Auntie about to give y'all. Listen, she said I'm giving it all. I'm giving all the
Please
tea,
do.
right?
Please do.
Listen, social media is a lie. Okay, you can't even sweep. A credit sweep is where they fraudulently say you got identity theft. They come up with this police report. They're gonna send it to the
Hmm.
credit bureaus. They're gonna clear all your stuff. And then guess what, baby? Once that investigation over, it's coming right back.
Oh.
Okay. But all these people on here, like, I can clean your credit in 30, 45 days. That's a lie. Because by law, the credit bureaus have 30 to 45 business days. That's
Hmm.
dang near 60 days right there. So Facebook lying to y'all. TikTok got y'all in a frenzy, okay? So that's a lie. Even when it comes to taxes, you got these people on here talking about they make 6 figures. Ask them for them bank reports. So
Hmm.
here we go. Auntie giving y'all the tea again. Listen, a bank report, if you're doing professional taxes, the banks, you use a bank product, baby, they will actually give you a bank report. So ask them people for them receipts. Just don't take them people word. Them people are have you thinking they doing something, baby. They living like the PJs and not the Joneses, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. We've seen that everything people post to be ain't who they are, right?
And everything costs. You know, God say, give it to his people and he shall give it back to you. So my
Amen.
thing is, yes, you got to invest in your business, meaning where I charge $199, but baby, I'm showing you how to make five, six, eight, $1,000 off of taxes. So you making a profit all the way around. But it's just what you want. And to put a annual number on what the average person can make, it all depends on the average person, baby.
So in the chat, everybody's asking for you to post your info so they can contact you. And you can go ahead and say that, and I can post it for you as well
Yeah,
if you
because
have
you
it.
know I ain't techie girl. You know
Right.
we
So
already established that, okay?
I
So
want to go back. Yes, ma'am. But I want to go back to that sweep. I'm just saying that out loud so I don't forget because I got questions about the sweep. But okay, how can they contact you?
so you can contact me. My Facebook is Coach Pie,
Yeah.
right? Coach Pie, that's my Facebook. And Facebook is where you get, because baby, I ain't trying to too many platforms will confuse you, okay?
Okay.
That is how you get me. Just follow me on Facebook, y'all. Get in my inbox. You know what I'm saying? I got a self-paced and I got a in-person. So if you're down here in Florida, you can come see me actually in person and learn how to do taxes. And that Schedule C, that means them self-employed people, that's the bulk of the money. But that's where so
Self-employed.
much fraud is at, y'all. And you ain't got to come on this side and still be doing illegal. Because I'm telling y'all, it's some legal money over here.
Yeah. And that's a good question. Iceberg Slick. He's asking, do you do corporate taxes as well?
I do corporate 1120s, 1120s, 1065, and nonprofits. Yes, I do. And
Oh,
I will even, and then when it comes to like tax advisory or tax planning, that's where I'll look. And if you're just a regular, independent LLC, if I see it more beneficial for you to become an S corp, I'm gonna say that. But okay, listen again. Here goes some tea, y'all, because TikTok and Facebook will have y'all jacked up. Y'all stop running out here getting these S corps, because if you are not able to faithfully pay yourself, the IRS will penalize you. So everybody ain't even ready to be an escort, but they all, if you go do this and you go do this, you can get this 50,000, this 20,000, this, that, and the other. But what they not telling y'all is, I don't care what they say about, they do not do a non-doc, right? If your business credit is not built to your Paydex, Paydex is what the business credit scores are called. If your Paydex is not an 80 or better, you're not even getting all what they talking about. They leaning on your personal credit, and if your personal credit look like boo-boo, baby, you're not getting nothing anyway. Then you on TikTok and Facebook talking about it's a scam. No, they just didn't tell you all of the pros and the cons. But I'll tell it to you.
I like that. I love just transparency and just honesty. We're all looking, we got money to spend. We're looking for people to do business with, but we want, people who are honest and aren't going to just take our money and run. And there's a lot of that out there. So I like the fact that you tell people up front what to expect and what not to fall for. That's important. I want to rewind back to the sweep because I want to understand that a little bit more. Because you said once they do all of that, it goes back into your credit report. Can you explain that a little bit more?
So what happens with a credit sweep is they have you fill out this affidavit, right? And it's that your identity was taken, okay? And some of y'all know y'all identity wasn't taken, but y'all gonna go on Facebook anyway, even after we get off, and y'all gonna pay somebody for a credit sweep. So here we go. After that, they do a formal investigation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it come back that is yours, it go right back on your credit.
So it starts all over, right?
It's not that it starts over, but it pops back up. So it'll come off. So, okay, listen. If y'all just need to do a credit sweep because y'all need to get, y'all trying to do something like a car, whatever.
Yeah.
Baby, what the people fail to tell you is you have to do it in a window, a 30-day window, maybe 60 days. You might got 60 days. That's just like them trade lines. I'm just out here buying these trade lines, and these trade lines only last one billing cycle if you ain't asking the right question. But the sweep, it takes it off. And then once the credit bureaus, do things, and they deem that it was actually your account, it comes back.
Okay.
It'll actually come back.
It'll
like
come
real
back.
fast, like the next month come back. So
yeah, 30 days.
They're not, there's no way to clean. Listen, even if you call like Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, and you have them update a lot of y'all credit bad because of y'all personal information. Y'all don't update it. Y'all got all these aliases, all these telephone numbers, address, and date of birth, and y'all just got all this stuff. Baby, sometime if you update that part, your credit will move, right? Your credit score start going up. So you can call them and you can say, hey, I need you to update all my personal information because according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, all my stuff is supposed to be 1,000% accurate. Not my name is Latona S. Pie because my middle name is Denise, so that's Latona D. Pie. So you know what I'm saying? But no. Just doing that little part. But here we go. Because I told you, Auntie gonna tell you the good and the bad.
That's right.
The bad is if that your name's address or whatever is attached to anything you're trying to keep, meaning your car, your house, your credit cards or whatever, you got to leave it on there. You better not take it off because Capital One, Navy Federal, and all them people mess around and take that address that they got on file off your credit report, baby. They're going to shut your cards down. They'll tell you need to give your car back, okay? So what I'm saying is if you got addresses from 10, 15, 20 years ago and they still sitting on your credit report, baby, follow me on Facebook. I'll drop it for y'all. I'll give you the mail-in version and the telephone version with the telephone numbers, okay? And then it's those secondaries like Nexus, Lexus, Stage Stream, Core Links, and Venus. It's an hour, whatever, and I can't pronounce it, so I ain't gonna even get on here in front like I can. But baby, they telling y'all to freeze those, but they better tell you why to freeze them. Because LexisNexis got, baby, the bank accounts, the evictions, the bankruptcies, the judgments, the utility bills. See, people won't tell the truth. People just want to try and get money. I make more money by telling the truth than I do just trying to sell y'all anything, because I'm very selective on who my clients are.
Okay, I got you on that. It's so much to it. It's just, and this whole credit game is tricky anyway. I mean, just the way it works. Because, for example, they say after 7 years, whatever discrepancies you may have should fall off.
That's a
But I'm
lie.
seeing to where they come back on like a whole new, with some people who have old collections, they're coming back on their credit report, and other agencies are buying them. Is that legal?
It is. So here we go. So let me talk on that. So the thing is, what debt collection companies do is, technically it's in black and white, 7 years, 7 to 10 years. Bankruptcy is 10. Anything else supposed to be 7.
Okay.
But what keeps it refreshing and things like that is 6 years in, maybe 6 years and a half,
Okay.
they'll sell the debt for pennies on a dollar, y'all. Y'all may owe somebody $500. Baby, they done bought that debt for 5 cents, and they about to collect all $500, right? So when it comes to that, if you owe somebody, and then here's another one social media got y'all saying, if you owe Midland and LB and all this, don't pay your collections. Baby, sometimes you need to pay them collections, because that's what's holding you up. So some of y'all collections be like $100, $500, and y'all be like, "Ooh, TikTok said don't pay it."
Yeah.
Baby, y'all better pay that off and ask for a debt pay off letter so you can get it off your credit, okay? Or at least update it. Just if you update my stuff on my credit report, I can live life a little bit better. So y'all better stop listening to social media. For real.
When you say updated, that even though you still have that on your collection report, updating your information
So
help.
when I say update with paying off a collection, it'll update to paid in full.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay. So yes, you. Okay, here we go. Can you dispute to get the stuff off your credit? Yes, you can. Even
Yeah.
some student loans, baby, but it's gonna take a minute. So this is why I'm saying these people lying to y'all. So student loans take a long time. Anything that's brand new, any credit that's brand new, spanking new, baby, it take a minute. Now, if it's back in the day, like 20 years, like this felony that I got, oh, that's an easy fix. But again, I'm telling y'all, start with the personal information. If you start with that personal information and pay down y'all utilization on these credit cards, if you pay down your baby, y'all, listen, you ain't got to file bankrupt. Stop filing bankrupt. Y'all filing bankrupt for $10, $15, $20, baby. If I file bankrupt, I'm about to be like Donald Trump. I owe y'all millions of dollars, okay? Y'all better stop using y'all get out of jail free for $10, $15, $20,000.
Listen, you got a president with 6 bankruptcies. What do you expect?
Listen, student loans, in the IRS debt, if you owe unemployment, and baby, if you owe welfare, something, it's on your credit. It's not going
Really?
nowhere. So y'all trying to file bankrupt, because again, y'all listen to social media, just go file bankrupt, baby. Them things they gonna stay there. They gonna stay there. And just because you file bankrupt, don't mean everything coming off y'all credit. Because I get clients all the time where they done file bankrupt, and because the bankrupt people don't tell you any and everything you better put on there. Like even the new stuff where you done missed one payment, you need to go ahead and help out. It's a trip, but it's not hard. Credit ain't hard and taxes ain't hard. You just got to understand it. You better educate yourself.
Yeah, I know. Learning credit, I mean, just the simplest things when it comes to credit card, just paying them by the due date. There's even a tricky way that you pay it before the statement date keeps your credit maintained, especially if you're trying to buy a house or purchase, make a big purchase and things of that nature. But when do you recommend, do you recommend ever filing for bankruptcy?
You got I usually try and listen, the average person shouldn't be filing bankrupt. Cause guess what? Y'all file bankrupt and then y'all go back into debt. Bankrupt goes to get you together, right? Some of y'all filing bankrupt and baby, so cause when you file bankrupt, listen, yes, your credit score is good. baby, they giving you everything. The car people always call you. The credit cards always in the mail. You know, you can get this, you can get that. The reason why is because you can't file for another 7 years. But if you didn't file bankrupt and you going back into debt, why file bankrupt at all? That means you got poor money management skills. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe we need to work on the mindset before we file bankrupt and at least try and dispute or pay some things off. Because buying a house is not hard. A lender will tell you what you need to pay off. Some people like dispute your credit, baby. If I go to a lender, okay, here goes some OT, y'all. If you go to a lender, I look at my credit and just tell me what I need to pay off to get this house. Right? The interest rate may be high because you got bad credit.
Right. That's
but
the
maybe
issue.
in 6 months, you can refinance that thing. So that gives you another 180 days to get your credit together. Okay. So you can buy a house with a score as low as 580. Your debt to income is what's keeping you from buying a house, not the credit score.
Yeah. And that refi thing got me because we really don't know. I bought my first home during the whole crash, right before it crashed. So I got a high interest rate. So I was like, cool, I'll just refinance it. I had a whole plan, but now I'm upside down. My house is worth less than what my loan is. So even though that is a possibility and it's always something that's available if the interest rates are low, it's not guaranteed that you're going to be able to refinance it. So I just want to just reiterate that to people. It's not as easy. I got caught up in that. So I want to just put that out there. But let me just go into the chat. Shout out to GB who wants to say, I love to see somebody who got it out of the mud and on Adobe Castle.
Absolutely. Yes, I am.
Shanta Jackson, she's jokingly saying that some of your clients may not be are undateable. There's a saying, nowadays when people are in the dating world, the first thing they ask, I heard a man say that the first thing he asks is, what's your credit score like? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the perspective she's coming from. Like if they have to come to you for credit cleanup, that's not the type of person. But I think that's a good step in the right direction. People have medical bills. If we had gotten the president that some of us voted for, then we wouldn't have to worry so much. But it's not always that you have poor money management. You lose your job. You get sick. You don't have medical insurance. A lot of things you just can't avoid. People make mistakes co-signing for people. So it's not always that you have poor money management. Sometimes you may make bad decisions. Sometimes you can't avoid it because you can't afford $1 million hospital bill, but you're trying to stay alive. So it's not always that people are just, bad people or just poor money managers. People just fall down on their luck. So,
even when I say poor money management, I would never say a person that has poor money management is a bad person because you don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
But when you know, you do better. So,
yeah,
but the majority of us don't know how to budget our money or, have the rainy day fund because our parents or the grandparents didn't. So it doesn't make you a bad person, but somewhere down the line, we have to take the accountability. And yes, it's a lot of people losing their jobs. Baby, that's why you better learn how to become an entrepreneur. Sell some socks. Sell some lemonade, do something, walk somebody's dog. Baby, it's always a business that you can start out there, But what I mean because listen, let me tell you this. I advise my clients that have credit cards, live off your credit cards. See, this is the thing, which I don't know is, even though I got my credit cards and I max my credit cards out and they stay maxed out for months and even years, 1 billing cycle, 2 billing cycle, 3 billing cycle, 4 billing cycle, up to 6 billing cycles, baby, change the whole way your credit profile look. So if you need to live off your credit cards, even if you max them out and can't pay them, because there's people out there that give you same credit cards over again, you may have to start out with a secure credit card. But it's people out there that give you credit. But what I mean by, now that we know something, I'm telling you a little bit, let's focus on what we learning now and let's educate ourselves. Find some podcasts or some YouTubes or some people on Facebook that's educating, not just trying to get your money.
Yeah, that's important. Shanta also had another comment. She said, on a serious note, S Corp tax designation is not the best option for her. She says and her single member LLC. She said it's easier for her to pay estimated quarterly taxes. And you're right about tax planning.
So this is the thing. Social media say go get an S corp. Listen, y'all. Let me tell y'all about an S corp. So a S corp, what the S corp benefit is, it lowers the tax liability on your personal side. So the S
Okay.
corp holds all the business.
Okay.
So you can write all your business out, right? And then on 1120, it'll say this is what needs to carry over to your personal side. Because baby, you filing the S corp and your 1040. So what saves you on the tax liability is what carries from the 1120S to your 1040. So if you own a business and you make 200,000, right? And when I get to the bottom line of my S corp and I only owe $3,500, only $3,500 is going over to your personal side on top of whatever other income you got. So technically, like y'all president, y'all know how they said he only paid taxes on $798.
I'll pay more taxes than his
Let me
behind.
let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
Please do.
He got corporations, and corporations eat all that money that man making. Okay, so when it
Mhm.
comes to his personal side, he got himself on payroll, and the only thing he's paying taxes on is the income that's on them W-2s, baby. So that's how the S corp and the corporations come into play and benefit. But if you cannot physically afford to pay yourself reasonable salary, so like a tax preparer, if I was to let Google tell it y'all should be making $50,000, $60,000,
Mhm.
in 120 days, and there's a lot of people that are, but you have to figure out how not to pay money on $50,000, $60,000. So as a LLC, yes, you get the deductions and things like that, but the S corp just work a little bit different. But you have to pay yourself reasonable salary. I can't pay myself. Say I pay myself $250 a week when I say I should be making $50,000 to $60,000. The math ain't mathing. So that's what I mean. And then the IRS will start penalizing you and things like that,
Mhm.
right? Like them, and you can lose your status. Social media ain't telling y'all when y'all run out here getting these pieces of paper, nonprofits, S corps, and all that. If you do not do what's according to the IRS, those forms that they telling you, those dates that they telling you, baby, you can lose your status. So that's what I mean by just pay attention. The S corp ain't for everybody, but social media telling y'all it is, but it ain't.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to do what you
Yeah,
know.
paying quarterly taxes is a huge thing. Y'all listen, the IRS. So let me help y'all out. Even for my W-2 people, okay? The IRS have a estimator calculator on the website. You can do it for free. Baby, look at y'all year to date. Put that in there and it'll tell you how much tax you should have paid today. So if you ain't paid that, then this is why some people owe at the end of the year. Then those W-4s do play a part and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's a trick to them W-4s too. But the estimator will tell you how much as a business owner. You can project how much money you're going to make, right? And you can estimate your taxes every quarter. There are 4 quarters in the dollar, baby. So every 4 quarters, you should be paying your taxes. And then at the end of the year, your tax liability is not as high as it would have been if you weren't paying no taxes at all.
Understood. It's a lot to learn. It's a lot to learn. Are you concerned that with the tax industry that AI is coming in to take these jobs? We got 300,000 Black women who they're, depending on what headlines you read, are exiting the job industry. Some of them may be going into entrepreneurship, but really they're just being taken out of their jobs because of DEI, and in some instances being replaced by AI. You're not concerned about it?
Y'all see me shaking my head, no?
Yeah.
I'm shaking no. And the reason why is because AI it's not, listen, y'all put something in there and know the right number. And AI mess around and give you the wrong number, okay? So
Yeah.
no. AI could actually
That's a
be
fact.
an enhancement to my tax business. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I,
I can drop my whole contract in there and I can say, hey, make it up to date. Or I can drop my a W-2 in there and say, tell me what's the estimated tax. So it has its everything has its pros and
yeah.
cons. I'm not worried about it because guess what? Have y'all ever called somebody? Y'all be like, dang, just let me speak to a live person. Like, I don't want to keep talking to these bots. You know what I'm saying? I want somebody that I can feel you, touch you, see you type thing that's
Yeah.
messing with my taxes. And listen, have some of y'all use TurboTax and y'all got letters from the IRS. Come on now, no. Y'all better, I'm not worried about AI. AI is actually an enhancement.
Yeah.
You know how to use it the right way.
So I know you were mentioning that you can kind of write off certain things, and specifically like just even going out, business wise, going to a restaurant and things of that nature. You can write those things off on your business tax. I know under this new administration, in his previous presidency, he put a cap on that. So I'm guessing that that's back. Is there a cap on how much you can write off as a business owner?
It's always a cap. Okay, so let's talk about that. So again, social media tell y'all can write everything off, right? Now listen, this is where you got to really know what type of business you're going into. So your business, the industry that you're categorized with the IRS determines how you write off things, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you are a babysitter. Okay, let's say you watch somebody kids at home, right? Now, of course, you're gonna write the meals off that that you buy the groceries and things like that or whatever. But you're not going out to dinner meeting the parents. The parents is actually coming to the daycare, right? So if you a mobile detailer, you get your biggest deduction is mileage and supplies. Not you going out to dinner,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if you somebody like me that educate, we put the team together, we always going to eat, we go out into the country and
Yeah.
all that stuff, baby. That's all right off because baby, I am a consultant. So I'm always doing something, but there is a cap. And when you're looking at the taxes, it's two things on there say 100% and 80%. And some of y'all trying to write off 100% and can't even get 100% because it's a cap in there. Because they do look at it. Even
Yeah,
your
I thought he put it to like $500. I'm not sure about it, but
no. It doesn't have to. It's not capped to $500 because again, it depends on your industry. If you
okay.
in the real estate, lawyers and things like that, that's always meeting people for
Mm-hmm.
coffee and listen, y'all. If y'all go to McDonald's and y'all say that's a write off, that's not a write off. A write off is you and your client. Okay, you and your client. Not just you, me, myself, and I. You and somebody else going and having a cup of coffee or lunch or things like that. Yeah, you can write that out, but it depends on the industry. And most taxpayers and most tax pros is just writing it off, and then y'all getting those letters when y'all get audited. They be like, you can't write this off, you can't write that off, you can't write this off, you can write that off. But let me give y'all a couple of industries where y'all can write some stuff off. If you're gonna start a business and you want to be in the consulting industry where you just may talk to somebody, your coach, and things like that, y'all use the word consultant or services. That way, you don't have to go out every year and start an LLC.
Okay.
Like when you say, if I would have said this is going to be legacy tax services and then I'm doing bookkeeping, credit repair, things like that, I got to have legacy credit repair, legacy bookkeeping, legacy payroll service. It's the industry. And listen, y'all, I'll give y'all a free consultation. Follow me on Facebook. Get in my inbox. I'll help y'all get an LLC. And guess what? I won't even charge y'all. Now, if y'all too difficult, I won't charge y'all. But other than that, I'll give it to y'all for free. This is not that serious. Stop gatekeeping. If y'all don't hear gatekeeping, stop it. God ain't even gonna bless you because you won't even feed his people. I'm feeding the people.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Just to bring a little levely back to the conversation we were talking about, people that are undateable because of their credit score. Iceberg Slick said there should be an app
Yeah.
that allows only 700 plus credit scores. And I'm thinking maybe the credit bureau can set up some of that. I'm just giving them some little business, help. They can set that up because they already got the scores, right? Experience,
But this
interview.
is the
That's a
thing.
fact.
One missed payment, one missed payment on a credit card can knock you out the 700 club. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't so much say it should be a dating app, right? I don't, but I think people should be working on to better themselves, right? So
yeah,
if I wouldn't have no problem dating somebody that's working on their credit. Now you just can't have just bad credit and I do credit repair and I'm telling you to do something you ain't doing it. That's different, right?
yeah.
But one missed payment is worse than filing bankrupt.
Wow.
One
Goodness.
missed payment is worse than filing bankrupt, baby.
And the minimum payment is usually $25, right?
But and I get sometimes people don't even have $25. So some
Yeah.
people trying to. So, it's so many of us that are not living. We're so busy surviving. So this is what I'm saying. Don't beat yourself up if your credit ain't good. Cause baby, one day you can take your tax money if you get some refunds, baby. You can take your tax money and fix your credit.
Hmm.
Just like that.
Hmm.
It's not, it don't take long. It take a minute, but it don't take long. And if you got some difficult things that's taking a while to come off, all you gotta do is keep disputing it. But I'm telling y'all, I'm listening to Auntie. Start with your personal information. But disclaimer, if it's attached to something that you're trying to keep, you better dispute it a different way. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Let's get into this 90-day challenge. I see you posting that on social media. Also, I just want to just point out that people do want you to get tech savvy because they want to be able to reach out to you. I don't know, maybe get a website or something.
No. I do have a website. Now
Oh, you
wait,
do?
hold up, wait a minute.
Well,
Now,
okay.
y'all didn't heard me
Tell me
say.
more.
Listen, y'all done heard me say, baby, I used to do the street way. But baby, Auntie doing as somebody say, I got the Adobe way or the Adobe Castle, baby. I got the Adobe Castle. So the website is legacy with the I, LEGACI, financialservices.com. But the reason why I say Facebook is going to be the best way to fix me because I got an assistant and she control that. I can see my Facebook. That's what I'm saying. Hit me
Okay.
up on Facebook. Not that I ain't got one because I got one. I got an office number. The office number is 352-663-8520. Again, 352-663-8520. You can call the office, okay? No, baby, Auntie is professional.
Okay. Tell them you don't play with you.
Professional. I
Okay.
just want y'all to get to me quick. So Facebook is actually the quickest way to actually get to me.
Did I get that right?
No.
LAGACI.
It's legacyfinancialservices.com. So you have to put financial in there.
Yes.
Somebody be like, she lying, she ain't got no website, baby. I got a
Right.
whole website. And on Google, okay? Y'all better Google it. Y'all no, we doing this. Baby, because let me say this, for real, all jokes aside, y'all, and this is for my people that, got these felonies or whatever. If that was the past, that's the past. Become an entrepreneur and get on the right side. You can make just as much money over here as you could over that side. Trust me.
I hear you on that. Okay, so let's get into this 90-day challenge. I saw that on your Facebook page. What is that all about?
So for 90 days, we started August the 25th. So for 90 days, I'm showing you, I'm giving the letters. I'm having you give me a copy of your reports. We're looking for the inaccuracy, but baby, y'all doing the work. I ain't doing no work. I'm giving it away. So I kind of go live in my Facebook group and I'll tell you, I'll walk you through the things. So right now we're starting on the personal information. I showed them how to freeze them secondaries. I told them what to say. I told them what they can write and things like that. And then the next thing we'll start working on the inaccuracies. Well, we're going to start with the inquiries first. Now, listen, inquiries, they do fall off. They fall off between 12 and 24 months. They'll fall off, okay? And then
Yeah.
before we get off of here, I'll kind of talk about how credit works and how it's calculated and things like that. But that'll be next, and then we'll get into like if you got late payments, and then we'll get into collections, and then we'll get into charge offs, and then we'll get into repos, evictions, and stuff like that. Baby, I'm gonna give it all to you, and I'm gonna give it to you in 90 days.
Okay, I like that. I like that. So if you are watching Facebook, I don't know. Again, we started off. They were telling me that the Facebook was blocked, and I don't know what's happening now. I think it's available, but if you happen to be in Facebook, just say hi, just so I know that you can hear and see us, just so I can confirm that. Otherwise, hopefully, you'll be able to watch it later. So I apologize for anybody who's on live and can't get through. I don't know what happened, and I'm disappointing, but things happen. I guess you just got to roll with the punches. But yeah, so the 90-day challenge, I mean, that's free information. So for those who are trying to figure out how to clean up their credit and how to, get into, entrepreneurship, into the tax business, having another stream of income, there's somebody out here that knows what to do, understands what to do, and, is doing the work, because we need people like that. A lot of us just don't know what to do. We don't know who to go to because a lot of people really, they just want your money, and they don't really walk you through the process and help you understand exactly what it takes. So you're saying, you offer a way to make recession proof income. So no matter what's going on in the world with the money, with the interest rates, you can make money. And I think that's, reasonable with taxes because we always got to pay these taxes, right? So no matter what's going on, you're going to be able to make money.
Listen, the tax industry in 2025 alone is projected to be 16.8 billion. Right? So even when somebody be like, well, my cousin doing it, my neighbor doing it, whatever, I don't care who doing it. Because you don't know who I know. I don't know who you know. Baby, my hustle is different than your hustle. You know what I'm saying? You may be over there doing fraud. I'm over here doing it the right way and things like that. So taxes is actually recession proof. Baby, when COVID was going on and y'all was sitting at home, I was still making money.
Amen to that.
So yes, no. Credit is dang near recession proof. Now what's happening with the credit a little bit, the states are actually cracking down. So if y'all don't know, listen, for these people on social media that's saying pay me, pay me, pay me, baby, by law, they cannot charge you until they perform some type of service. That not meaning something come off your credit. That means they have given you some letters, they have did some consultation or things like that. But these people just out here like, give me your money, and I ain't did nothing before you even talk to me. Baby, tell them Auntie said I ain't.
Okay. So don't give anybody your money.
If
don't give your credit card number.
They have to put some type of work in to legally charge you for credit repair. Now listen, y'all, some of y'all gonna be like, well, they be scamming Lexington Law and creditrepair.com and credit repair and all. No, listen, for real, it really worked, but it's not an overnight success. So some of y'all doing these chargebacks because social media said 30 days and Latona taking 6 months. But Latona didn't explain the process. So that's the difference. So that's why the states are actually cracking down. And all of the bigger name brand tax repair companies, they didn't actually been through lawsuits. So this is how we know that you can't charge a person before you perform a service.
You cannot charge a person before you perform a service. That's very important information to know.
Yeah. So because you said something about the credit card statement. So let me explain the credit card statements, okay? Everybody gets a statement, whether it's online or it come in the mail. Now, if you're not good with checking your online account, baby, get you a piece of paper in the mail, okay? It's their paper. You ain't got to print it out. It's theirs. So you're going to look because it'll go from, let's say, August the 1st to September the 1st, right? So that means the 1st is actually your statement date. Now, your due date going to be somewhere in the middle.
Right.
Okay. So So the goal to actually see some type of improvement in your credit score, just pay your minimum before the statement date. And
There you
listen,
go.
the trick, let me tell y'all the trick. The trick is y'all can't use that credit card to at least 5 to 10 days after the statement because you got to give it time to report to the credit bureau.
So
Most of
don't use
y'all,
your credit card 5 or 10 days after the statement date.
most of y'all will pay it off, right? Pay it
Yeah.
down, and then y'all go use the credit. Like y'all
Right.
didn't
That's what I do. I just pay it off every month and I just continue on using it because they make me have a credit card in order to maintain a good
but
credit score. Otherwise, I would just use my own money.
no, listen. You have to let it give it time to report to the credit bureaus. So this is why I'm saying 5 to 10. This is why I'm telling y'all credit can't be fixed in 7 days. So you pay your minimum, or you pay it down to zero, or
Mm-hmm.
things like that. I'm gonna tell y'all the no about paying all these credit cards down to zero too. But anyway,
Tell
pay
me.
your minimum before the statement date, and y'all don't use it for a while. Now, if you got to use it, that's fine. Because again, credit is easy to fix, especially credit cards. But if not, just wait till 5 to 10 good days, and then you can use your card because it didn't already report to the credit bureaus.
Which can be tricky for some because some people use their credit cards for auto pay. So it's already set up to pay on a certain date unless you really, diabolical. I say I'm meticulous about managing the dates on what to pay. Even if you're not physically using it, you have things already, set up to pay. So
But the trick to that is it's okay to have it on auto pay. So y'all listen to this. They say the rule is 30%. Like you need to be below 30% of your utilization.
mhm.
Now, what they ain't telling y'all is that utilization is for all the cars across the board, not just one per, no, across the board. So if you got 5 credit cards, baby, that's 30% across them 5, okay?
Okay.
So let's say you're on auto pay, and if you have multiple cars, baby, spread the auto pays out. The auto pay ain't got to be on one credit card.
Mhm.
So, and the good thing about being on auto pay, baby, do you know you can call these people and tell them and set your payment date? So if I know my statement is due on the 1st, then I need all of my stuff to either hit, baby, the 15th of the prior month, or baby, the 31st of the month, not
Yeah.
on the 1st. So
Yeah.
you can control when your payments actually come out.
Yeah. I think that's good information to know. I know we're going to be wrapping it up soon. So I just want to give anybody in the chat a chance to ask any other questions that they want. So you do this live every Tuesday, correct?
No. In the group, I try and go live. Listen, y'all, I ain't even a live person. Listen, baby, this is, I don't even go live. But in the 90-day challenge thing, I
Okay.
go live every Thursday,
Thursday.
and I talk about it and break down. And if you listen, let me give them this tidbit before we get off of here, y'all. Until December 31st, y'all can go to annualcreditreport.com, annualcreditreport.com, and pull your credit report every week, okay? So you're going to go to annualcreditreport.com. You're going to pull Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. It's going to give you all 3 reports. Y'all got to save it. Y'all got to print it out. Y'all got to do something, okay?
Mhm.
And then when you get in there, just start highlighting that top section. Start with the top section. And then you can say, get in my inbox, or even get on my Facebook. When I say good morning, just be like, I want to talk about credit. I'll tell y'all how to dispute that part, but you have to pull your credit reports. Don't depend on trying to get a job or an apartment or a car for them to pull your credit. Know what's going on with your own credit. And Credit Karma. Let's talk that before we get off. Listen.
Okay.
There are 2 different scores. There's a FICO score and a Vantage score, okay? So when you're trying to go get a car, a house, and things like that, they use FICO. So if you want to know your true, honest, true FICO score, you're going to pay for it. That's all if you want all 3. Experian will give it to you. But you're going to go to My FICO, and you're gonna pay like $29. You can
Mm-hmm.
cancel after the first month, just get it right. Though they're gonna show your banking score, they're gonna show your insurance score, they're gonna show your housing score, they're gonna show all these scores, okay?
Oh, so
Yes,
there's an actual insurance score.
yes, there's a school. Yes, see, people don't know that. People, baby, there are over 20 something FICOs, okay? So
Wow.
where they all like the FICO 9 and no, baby. The banks use like a FICO 2, the insurance use something, the houses use something. No.
But I thought the insurance company just went and verified your credit. So they got their own little system with their own score that might be totally different from what you think your score is. You say it's 700 plus or whatnot. The insurance score might be different. This is wild.
Yeah, because you know what? So, and the thing is three scores. You got your high, your middle, and your low.
Right.
Now, Experian is the high, TransUnion is the middle, and Equifax is the low. Some people pull off the low, but baby, the majority of the people pull off TransUnion.
The
So
middle.
when you go to Credit Karma is using a Vantage score. So have some of y'all ever looked at Credit Karma and then you be like, oh dang, my credit score is 725. And you go at a dealer and they be like, you only a 569.
What?
Baby, that's the difference. That's because that's a Vantage score and not a FICO score. So if you really want to know your scores, myfico.com is your actual FICO scores.
Wow.
Now, Credit Karma is not bad to know what's actually being reported to your report, but when it comes to the scores, it's a little bit different.
Yeah. Wow. That was a wealth of information. It's still, even with that, which is what I learned every day, because I learned something new every day. And every time I learn something new, I realize how little I know. You know, with the amount that I do know, how little I really know. So I just appreciate you, just giving out free game, and sharing it with the public. Again, you guys, if you want to reach out and get more information or get assistance or help or, learn how to be a tax preparer, feel free to reach out to Coach Pie. I meant to ask you that in the beginning too. How did you come up with the name Coach Pie? How did you come up with that nickname?
Of course, Pie my last name, right? And the people just started calling me Coach. So y'all see it's actually in diamonds, baby. So
I didn't know if you was part of a team,
no,
like a sports team.
Yeah, it is my team. How about that?
Yeah.
We the NFL, the NBA, and the baseball team. Okay, yeah, we doing it all.
The fastest way to connect with our analog girl in the digital world, I just added you to my club because I'm an analog girl in the digital world. Okay.
Okay.
Is to go message her on Facebook at Coach Pie. If you want to be a little bit more sophisticated, she does have a team that will reach out to you. May not be as fast or expeditiously. Shout out to TI. You can go to legacyfinancialservices.com. You can also call 352-663-8520. Do you want to say anything else before we close out?
Now, listen, yes, I do. I just want to encourage somebody, okay? Your past don't determine your future. And your future can be whatever you make it. So even if you got a felony, baby, there are things that you can out there that you can call me and I'll teach you how to get in the financial industry, okay?
That's what's up. And I also want to give a thank you for those for watching and chatting. I want to go ahead and get my applause in. Y'all know how I do every week. So let me do that. And again, before we close out, I just want to add a little bit more levity to the conversation. I opened up just talking about how, maybe it is important to have more than one, stream of income. And this is just one way and an opportunity for some of us to be able to have additional streams of income. But again, I want to just play a little clip. It's a mini clip from In Living Color. I missed that show. Did you used to watch that show?
I used to watch the Marshall Bill, baby.
Yes. All of them were I just love them. But so this particular one was Damon Wayans played this role so well. But it was a skit on Hey Man. I tried to do my little Jamaican accent. I know I butchered it, but listen, I can have fun. But this is just a little skit of him just referencing the importance, or being I would say snobby about not having multiple jobs or multiple streams of income. So I'm gonna play this for y'all. This woman here is a full-time. What's the matter with her? She in labor. In labor, I don't see her working. What are you talking about, labor? How many jobs you got? One. One job. One job, and you call it labor. Get up and help out with the other patient. Give us a fatty pie. Come on, fatty pie. Help out. What's your daughter-in-law? I'm gonna tell you something, girl. The day I gave birth to your lazy husband, Byron, my son, I was working 6 jobs, no man. I was a wedding photographer, me, shoe salesman, swimming instructor, sushi chef. I'm taking a bar exam, all about delivering his lazy fetus. Get up now, you're fine. I think I better lie down. Lying down, that's what got you in the first place, you lazy rabbit killer. Get to work, get to work. Oh, my water broke. Well, don't just stand there, no, man. Get up, mop and clean it up now. Pass the floor while you're at it now. Take that. Get a corner. That's right. I love all the characters. This is a woman who came into the hospital, and at that time he was a doctor. But the thing that they were just showing, they did multiple jobs. So when the water broke, the nurse became the cleanup lady. I mean, it was just hilarious to me. So I want to encourage people, just especially in the climate that we're in today, to have a little backup. That extra money. A side hustle doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna be able to buy a new house or car, but just to have a little extra money, maybe to take a vacation or to save money, or just for a rainy day. It doesn't hurt to have multiple streams of income. So I hope this information was fruitful for you, and I appreciate you so much, Coach Pie, Latona Pie, for coming on today, and I hope that we can do this again, and elaborate more on ways to build multiple streams of income.
Absolutely. Next time, let's dive a little bit into the topics, when it comes tax topics or credit topics. I'm willing to give it to y'all. I just need y'all to be willing to do the work.
Yeah. So I like that we did touch the surface on it. And again, you guys, reach out to her if you want to get deeper into, the details. And we can get into it, pick it apart, put it into segments if you want to do that.
I'm down. Y'all down for that? If y'all down, y'all better let her know. Because if not, baby, we ain't going to go live with it. So y'all better let her know, okay?
All right. Thank you guys so much. I'll be back next weekend. I appreciate y'all. And again, thank you so much, Coach Pie, okay?
Oh, y'all welcome.
Bye-bye.